Cathy here from Eclectic Images with a bit of a fun card for you today. I'm going to layer up some images, use some masking, and then create a night scene background with some bright flowers. We'll put some metallic paints in there. I think it's going to be a nice one. Okay, it's going to be fun to make anyway. All right, let's have a look at our products because we've got a few things to use. So with stamps, we've got the saying out of Phases Moon and Sun. We've got the small cat out of the All Hallows Eve, Mandala Moon, which is a fabulous stamp for working with, plus some tiny flowers and also the floral bouquet set for some of the leaves and another of the flowers as well. Our inks will have some Versamark for embossing, then quite a few VersaFine Clairs, Twilight, Nocturne, Warm Breeze, Paradise, Bluebell, Medieval Blue, and maybe some Monarch. I'm not sure about the purple yet. We'll see how it's looking. And then for our background, we've got some Dress Blues, Suede Shoes, and Fiesta Blue. We'll probably also add in a few Pentel pens for some colouring as well. So let's... Oh, and there was another stamp which I haven't grabbed the packaging for, and that's just the small Magnolia Blossom. Don't know if you can see it there, but you'll see it once I stamp it out. So that's the one that's part of the Magnolia series, but it's a stamp on its own. Okay, first thing I'm going to do is ink up with Versamark. I'll just wipe my page off with an anti-static pad. Inking up our phrase with Versamark. This is going to be a resist. So we'll stamp this down in the bottom corner with some platinum, and then we can build the rest of the scene around it. I think I'm going to regret later that I'm not stamping a whole lot of stars as well to act as resists, but well, we'll deal with that when we get there. Okay, bit of a tap. Bit of a flick on some bits. There that we don't want. Still a bit there that we don't want. Come on, we'll have you out of there. Okay. It's an odd little stamp because it looks a little bit crooked, but I don't think it is. Okay, excess powder back in the jar. Pop that to one side. Quickly get this heated and we can move on to some layering stamping. Just warm the heat gun up on the back of the page. Means I'm starting to get the card warmed as I warm up the heat gun. There it goes. Okay. Now I'm using the Moon Mandala. I've got it loaded in my stamp press already, so I can just line this up with my mark there on the measurement line. Now, I want to stamp to get an idea where it is, but I'm wanting to put flowers over the top of it, particularly down this side. So I really don't want to stamp that part of it, but I want to be able to see where it is. So what I'm going to do is just, with one of the lighter coloured inks, just ink up mostly that part. And then I'll stamp it off on a bit of scrap paper a couple of times. Use a bit of masking paper that I've got tucked to the side here. So we're just going to come in and just stamp that. That's even still a bit too strong. Let's stamp it again. Okay. Now we should be good. So I really just want a vague line of where it's going to be. Now we can start coming in with our flowers. So I'll start off with the Magnolia and I'm going to switch to Twilight for my basic stamping colour. I've got several masks sitting around here ready. So we ink up Magnolia. And I want it coming off the side of the moon there. And I've gone and done something I often do, and that's stick my thumb in the ink pad and then stick it on the page. But that's okay because we're doing some little solid flowers. I can easily do a flower over that. So we'll get around that one. Now, let's mask that. And I've got one of the little blossoms. Oh, that's a set I didn't show you. The new Madagascar Periwinkle set. I've pinched one of the small flowers out of that set as well. So let's pop that mask on there. And we'll get our Madagascar Periwinkle. Pop that coming down from the magnolia. Okay, give it a clean, mask it, and then we're ready to come in with some of our little solid flowers. So these ones we will paint. But let's come in now with some solid flowers around, and this is where the other colours of the inks will come into play. So we'll grab the largest one, which is the Frangipani, and let's have some Paradise. I'm actually starting to think I might not get into the darker ones much. We might stick with the lighter one, lighter ink colours, brighter ones. Okay. Oh, no, we'll go Bluebell with one of our small flowers. I may be making this up as I go along, guys. I've got an idea in my head, but whether that's actually how it turns out, who knows? It's just going to develop as we go along. All right, let's stop there. I can always come back and add a few more. So I am going to go with the purple, and I'll save the Warm Breeze, the teal colour, for all the leaf patterns around. Don't ask why I'm coughing. Probably just because I'm talking 9 to the dozen because I'm a bit excited about this card. Let's ink up our purple one. Oh yeah, that does look good. Maybe not one up top. Maybe I'll do another one, another couple down here. There we go. Now I'm going to mask the moon and we'll start adding the foliage around, sort of coming around from behind it. So I'll get the bigger frond, and I've got the mask of the moon sitting here already. So this is why, by putting it, lightly stamping it, it means now I can see where to mask it. And then we'll come in and stamp that in the twilight. So let's switch to Warm Breeze. It might be enough of that one. As I said, idea in my head, but the actual logistics of it, making it up as I go along. And I can always come back and add more later if I decide that it needs it. Now the little jip, I often don't want the whole stem with this one, so I can just tuck it over the mask and just get little bits of it showing. And it's great for filling in bits. Beautiful. I'm going to leave that there. Matthew's always so surprised when I say, that's it, leaving it there. So my stamp should still be lined up. I'm going to leave the masks on the bigger flowers. Let's just, before I re-ink the stamp, let's lay it over and make sure it looks like nothing's moved. That looks great. So Twilight. I've done that before on a video, haven't I? Dropped an ink pad. Well, we'll see how we go with that one. Don't know how I'm going to get out of that now. Doesn't fit with the picture at all. But we shall see. There may have to be a second instalment on this one to show how I fix it. Let's check whether that's inked nice and strong enough. Not quite enough in the middle there. So let's just give it a bit of a re-ink. This time, putting the ink pad there and away before I get anywhere near my picture. Fold it over and give it a good push down on that part of it where I didn't ink enough. Give it that bit of time. Much better. Okay. Now I might leave it in the platform and get the little cat stamped in here as well. Then we can start doing our colouring. So the cat is out of the All Hallows Eve set, and I want him, just checking he hasn't got any little hairs or anything that's going to interfere with him being a solid stamp. Just give him a bit of a white clean. Okay, I'm going to mask the moon again because I'm going to tuck him in sort of almost behind the moon a little bit. But we want him to look like he's sitting in the moon. So I'm going to place him so that his little head is between a couple of the beads and his tail neatly disappears in behind the moon there. Just lift him up a little bit. So it looks like he's sitting in that part of the moon. Okay. Right, everything stay where you're supposed to be. That'll be right. Okay. Pop that back. Now I'm going to ink him up with, no, I might ink him up with Nocturne. Let's have him black. Except I don't want his little paw sticking out at the front. So I'm just going to take the ink off the little front of his paw. Is that too much? The advantage of the stamp press is I can put it over and just have a look at it. I think I took a little bit much off. That should be perfect. And there is a hair there. That's the problem with stamping a solid stamp. If you've got any little hairs or bits on the stamp, it will show when you stamp it. Okay, let's give him a nice press. Let him sit there for a moment. Let that ink absorb into the card. Nice, but not quite black enough. So let's pop the mask back. Check everything is still sitting where it's supposed to be. Ink him up again. And the little paw is perfect, so I know where to ink that too. Ink with the right part of the ink pad would help. And again, just clean off the very tip of the paw. Okay. I love the look of all the flowers on the moon. That's come out really nice. That's better. Look how black that is. Oh, that's wonderful. Okay. Right, let's lift all that out. and start our background colouring. Now I have cleaned my blue blending brush by just wiping it on a damp cloth and then a dry cloth, so that when I start adding colour in, I want to work from light blue through mid through dark. I'm not going to be contaminating the lighter blue with darker blues that I've been using on previous cards. So, do I have the mask of the moon again? And just let's do a little heat set of our cat. I have recently re-inked my Nocturne ink pad, so I'm just a bit worried about that smudging as I colour over the top of it. So a little bit of a dry, and then we can start adding some colour. Now I'm quite happy to have a little bit of a glow around our moon and our flowers. So I won't be putting a lot of ink that close. So we'll start on the side here and work in. So I'm quite happy to come up to those flowers but not actually colour too heavily over them. That way we'll have just a little bit of a glow around them. And then these colours around the edge are going to get deepened to a night sky look. We'll worry about that little bit down there later. There might have to be some more flowers down there or something. Or something.
Maybe it's a shooting star.
Maybe it's a shooting star. Maybe I'll do it in glitter and do another one and make a... Yeah, shooting star. That's a good idea, Matthew. Full of good ideas, aren't you, darling?
Not just here for my look. Just here for my cameras.
And your smart comments. We appreciate your smart comments. Because that mask has got really fine points. I can't sort of colour that way. I'll scrunch the paper up. So I'm sort of colouring in the direction that the mask is. Okay, let's lift that out and have a look. Pretty good. All right, now we switch up the colours. So let's switch to our next colour, suede shoes. Now, because I'm going from a lighter to a darker colour, I don't need to worry about stopping to clean the brush or anything. We just go straight in with the next colour. So put it where I want it and then fade it over the Fiesta Blue a little bit. Good colours. I know Jackie, who you see as Embossing Queen, who does Eclectic Fridays, she often works with this palette with the blues and maybe an aqua in there, and they just look so good. And the silver platinum embossing powder will resist the inks. We'll probably have to give it a little bit of a polish off after we've applied the colours, but it will resist those inks so that the shine will come back to it once we've finished. This is a freshly inked ink pad, so it's quite dynamite if I go straight onto the card, but I'm actually enjoying that amount of colour to play with. I'm starting to wonder if I even need to put in the darker shade. So up the sides there where I don't want to get this colour over the flowers, I'm really concentrating on the edge of the card. It's looking pretty good. I will add a bit of dress blues, but I don't think we're going to need much at all. Mainly probably just down the bottom and a bit in the top corners. Actually, I'm going to do a bit more suede shoes down that side. But I can't get too distracted with just how pretty these colours are. Otherwise, we won't get this card finished. Let's just add a bit more of that richness in there. Oh, look at that. Okay. So dress blues is the darker blue in this family. Catherine Pooler inks are all designed in colour families. So you get blues, you get blue greens, green blues, etc. And you'll have 3 or 4 shades in each of those families. So it makes you working with colour really easy. Let's do some on the bottom corners. Now the darker this is around that platinum, the more the platinum will actually show up with that embossing. And the more our little ink pad line there is starting to disappear anyway. Okay, stunning. Right, let's colour our flowers and our moon. And then put on some metallics. Okay. So taking off the mask off the magnolia. And I'm going to colour that with a mixture of pink mixed with sepia, which will give me a plummy colour. Grab my water brush. Now I am working on cotton blend cardstock. So mix those two together. Maybe a bit more pink. Got to be still happy with the colour mix. Nice, there it is. That's what we want. Just come in with a second brush, a clean one, just to blend it out. I don't want it. I want the colour being quite light at the end of the petals. Magnolias are often almost white on the end of the petals, but these rich colours in at the base of the flower. Just so pretty. And it won't hurt to have that little bit of a splash of lighter colour in amongst all the depth of the other colours that we've got happening. Don't drop your brushes on top of the card while they're all loaded. That would not be good. Not be good at all. Matthew would laugh a lot. So, what do we choose for the Madagascar periwinkle? Maybe, I'll just wipe those brushes out clean. Maybe, let's try blue with a bit of sepia. Because I don't want the bright blue. That'll be competing with the other blues that we've got happening. More denim-y sort of blue. That's nice. I'm actually noticing where the Madagascar periwinkle has open parts. They should have picked up a bit of the Fiesta blue as I was doing the shading. Now, I might not have time while I'm doing this, creating of this card to fix that, but I will come in later and see those gaps in there. I'll brush on a bit more Fiesta blue on those. especially as we've got some wet petals, I might not be able to fix it right now. Okay. Hey, that's looking pretty nice. Now we're going to bring in some metallics on the actual moon itself. So for this, I've got my Gansai Tambi Starry collection, and I've already put some water in the champagne gold to get it started. Champagne. I'm hoping champagne gold is going to go okay with the platinum. Now, because I've had water sitting in it, it's had a chance to go quite creamy, which makes it easy to work with. Just got to check that I'm putting it in the right spots. So even though I'm colouring a fair bit of the image, I'm trying to not go over the lines, just because sometimes the metallics can actually be so strong that they actually obliterate the stamped image underneath. So I am trying to go around the stamped bits, just so, see, I'm just dabbing that in that gap, just so I don't lose all my stamped lines. And having to cover a bit of area when I've just dipped the brush in, because the paint has come up so creamy. I'm picking up heaps of colour. So I'll just go back and finesse that a bit. Okay, now I think we need to bring in some of the darker sort of blues there. So maybe a bit left over from what we did the flower in. Let's add that in here. Okay. Let's add some glitter. And I have got silver glitter on the go for this. I did grab silver glitter and rose gold, but I think I'll just stick with silver. Now let's get, I was going to get a bit of a cloth, but I've just got a wet one there. So I'm going to grab the edge of my apron and actually dust off, just polish back where that embossing powder will have picked up some ink. So now you can read that, you can see the silveriness of that platinum colour and read that there. So now we definitely need silver glitter on our gems. Another thing that would be really nice on this one is to have added some extra gems. So from the mandala, Dreamcatcher mandala, from that set, to have added the extra gems hanging down here would be really cool. I want to keep playing, but I actually think that's almost enough.
That you're out of time.
And I'm out of time. Okay, I will get this one mounted up later and put a picture up and fix that little bit of Fiesta Blue and just decide I might add in some of this frond just up to cover that little bit of a line. I'll think about that one. All right, I'm just going to bring it forward so it's got the black background there. How magnificent are those blues in the background? And I love the little cat sitting in the moon. To me, that is just gorgeous. So thank you very much for watching today. Hope you enjoyed that one and you'll have a go at it. Have a try of shading different colours around it. It would look great with mauves and purples around as well. So yeah, have a bit of a play. Hope you have fun with it, and we'll see you again next time.